let me give an example. Would you say that an Alexander Solzhenitsyn going into the Gulag as an atheist and coming out of the Gulag as a believer and indeed an Orthodox Christian was simply seeking some kind of comfort, a security blanket, because of the horrors he was exposed to?
Well, I don't think your example is a particularly fortunate one, because the brand of Russian Orthodox Christianity that is actually advanced by Alexander Solzhenitsyn is a very deeply chauvinist, xenophobic, traditionalist, nationalist one, to which I'm not surprised that a number of Russians would have resorted under the pressure of Stalinism, but that doesn't make it any more agreeable. If you're going to take conversion experiences of that kind, then you have to take them all. More Jews gave up religion because of the Holocaust than adopted it, and it's very, very easy to see why, in my opinion, unless you take the view that is taken by some rabbis, that the final solution was a punishment for the exile.
Well,
the very teaching, in fact, that made many people pick up and leave the synagogue, and rightly so.
My
they
point...
didn't believe that God would organize the burning alive of children in furnaces. So I don't know why they wouldn't believe that, since I think actions of that kind are actually very strongly recommended throughout the New Testament.
Oh, well, that's another show right there. Don't have time to pursue that. Would you say that a Solzhenitsyn who came to faith under those circumstances was doing it out of a kind of cowardice?
No, I certainly wouldn't say that, no.
But you would believe he was misguided?
I think Russian Orthodoxy is a terrible belief held by a ghastly church with a hideous history. These are the people who brought us the protocols of the Elders of Zion, among other things. And he said that the Tsar was the Holy Father. A blasphemous thing to say, I would have thought, from a Christian point of view. Not that I should perhaps arrogate that position to myself. There are many, many people whose experience of persecution and suffering has led them to doubt the existence of God, as you must know.
My worry, and it happens continuously now, is that the modern mind, and I think it's the modern mind that is absorbed in science, immediately goes to abstractions that will cover all cases, as opposed to the individual case, that is, love thy neighbor as thyself, one-on-one, and that the individual soul, which is what I believe, in an individual relationship with God the Creator and Christ the Redeemer of mankind, is quite literally responsible for choices and decisions on an individual basis. I am responsible for my actions. And to somehow make a large group or even an institution responsible is incredibly unfair, particularly the Catholic Church, that puts the burden on me as an individual soul with the duty to save itself.
A final couple of comments from both Christopher Hitchens and David Allen White when we return to the final segment after this on the Hugh Hewitt Show. 55 minutes after the hour, America, it's been fascinating. I want to thank both Christopher Hitchens and David Allen White for this conversation on faith, science, and culture. Christopher Hitchens, I want to give you the opening of the closing statements, your reaction to the conversation of the last couple hours.
Well, can I just take up very directly the point about responsibility?
Yes.
That Professor White just made? One of my most deeply rooted objections to Christianity is the idea of vicarious redemption, the idea that by a human sacrifice of someone claiming to be, or claimed by his supporters to be the Son of God, that you can throw your sins on him and have them washed away. I regard that as a frankly flat-out immoral doctrine, because vicarious redemption precisely robs you of personal responsibility. I think that the responsibilities we have to ourselves and others are inevitable and social, and come from our existence as a social species. When I give blood to somebody, I get satisfaction from doing it. I don't, a double satisfaction, in point of fact. I don't lose a pint of blood because I easily regenerate it. Someone else gets one. That pleases me very much. I also feel I've done a good thing, and I also have a rare blood group, and I may one day need a transfusion myself, so I hope other people are doing the same thing and thinking in the same way. There's absolutely no need at all for a supernatural or divine permission for this kind of thing. If we didn't have it, we would have died out, and as we yet may.
David Allen White, the conclusion goes you.
Well, I am a human being stumbling through this world, a pilgrim on a pilgrimage. Often a poor sinner, I'm very grateful that God is there and sent Christ to redeem us. And I'm grateful he founded a church, and I'm particularly grateful for the Mass and the Sacrament of Confession that may help me on the road there. The argument will continue, and we'll find out at some point one way or t'other.
And since the two of you live all of 10 minutes apart, though David Allen White is over the Potomac and Christopher Hitchens on the Maryland side of it, perhaps you can meet at some point and discuss it in person. Once again, thank you, Christopher Hitchens. Thank you, David Allen White. Fascinating conversation.
Pleasure. Thank you.